Why inflation is secretly destroying your savings. The silent threat most people ignore? Let me ask you something important. Have you noticed that even though you are saving money, life feels more expensive every single year? Groceries cost more, rent costs more, fuel costs more, healthcare costs more. Yet when you look at your bank balance, it feels almost the same. You are not imagining this. Your money is not safe. It is being quietly destroyed every single year because you are careless, not because you are bad with money, not because you are making terrible decisions, but because of something most people never fully understand. It's called inflation. And today I will show you how inflation is secretly destroying your savings and what you can realistically do about it. Welcome to Wealth Principles Lab, where we don't sell motivation. We explain how money really works. Section 1. What is inflation? Deep but simple inflation is one of the most misunderstood concepts in finance. Most people think inflation simply means prices going up. That is only the surface. Inflation actually means this. The purchasing power of money decreases over time. In simple words, your money slowly loses its strength. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't vanish. It just buys less than it used to. That's why inflation feels invisible at first. Things don't suddenly become expensive. Your money slowly becomes weaker. And because this happens gradually, most people don't react until serious damage is already done. Section 2. A simple real-life example. Let's make this very real. 10 or 15 years ago, a basic meal felt affordable, rent felt reasonable, education costs were manageable, families could plan, savings felt meaningful. Look at today. With the same amount of money, you buy less food, you rent less space. You receive fewer services. Nothing dramatic happened overnight. Your money didn't grow, but prices quietly did. That difference, that slow gap between money and cost, is inflation. It works against you every single year, whether you notice it or not. Section 3. Why inflation is called a silent killer. Inflation doesn't announce itself. There is no warning message, no alert, no breaking news saying, your savings lost value today. It doesn't feel painful in 1 year. But here's the danger. Inflation compounds. A 5% inflation rate sounds harmless. But over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it destroys massive amounts of purchasing power. This is why inflation is more dangerous than sudden losses. You don't feel robbed. You don't feel panic. Slowly, quietly, you are losing. Section 4. How saving money actually fails you. Most people are taught one rule. If I save money, I'll be safe. Saving feels responsible. Saving feels disciplined. Saving feels mature. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Saving alone does not protect you from inflation. Let's look at simple math. If your savings grow at 2% per year and inflation runs at 6% per year, you are losing 4% of purchasing power every year. Your bank balance looks stable, but the value of that balance is shrinking. This is why many people save for decades and still feel poor later in life. They saved money, but never protected its value. Section 5. Banks and the illusion of safety. Banks are very good at one thing: making saving feel safe. Oh, your money is stored insured. Easily accessible. This creates emotional comfort. But banks do not protect purchasing power. They pay very low interest while inflation continues rising. Behind the scenes, banks lend your money, invest your money, earn far higher returns. You receive safety. They receive growth. Inflation quietly handles the rest. Section 6. Why inflation hits salary earners the hardest. Inflation affects everyone, but salary earners suffer the most. Why? Because salaries grow slowly, while inflation increases continuously and expenses rise immediately. Most people receive a salary increase only once a year, and only if they are lucky. But prices don't wait. They adjust constantly. By the time you receive a raise, your rent, food, fuel, and daily costs have already gone up. This creates a permanent financial gap. That's why many people earn more than before, yet feel poorer, more stressed, and constantly stretched financially. Section 7. The paycheck illusion. Inflation doesn't reduce your salary today. You still receive your paycheck. Your bank balance still exists, but quietly. Rent consumes more food, eats a larger portion. Utilities cost more, savings by less. This creates confusion. People think I need to earn more money, but the real issue is I need my money to grow faster than inflation. Income alone does not solve inflation. Growth does. Section 8. Why governments don't stop inflation? Many people ask. Why doesn't the government simply stop inflation? The truth is uncomfortable. Controlled level of inflation actually benefits governments. It reduces the real value of national debt, encourages people to spend rather than save, and helps keep the economy moving. However, when inflation rises faster than wages, ordinary people suffer. Saving starts to feel like punishment, debt becomes easier to manage, and assets become more powerful than cash. This isn't theory. This is how modern financial systems operate. Section 9. The biggest myth: cash is king. People often say cash is king. And yes, cash is important, especially for emergencies and short-term stability. But in the long run, cash is actually one of the weakest assets you can hold. Why? Because cash does not grow, steadily loses value due to inflation, and it creates comfort, not progress. When you hold too much cash, you feel safe, but your purchasing power quietly declines. Over time, this means your money buys less, and your financial growth slows down. Holding excess cash is not safety. It is slow financial decline. Section 10. Why investing is not optional anymore. In the past, simply saving money was enough. Today it is not. Inflation has quietly turned investing into a necessity, not an option. If your money is not growing faster than inflation, you're actually moving backward, even if your bank balance looks stable. Investing is not about getting rich overnight. It is about protecting your purchasing power, preserving long-term financial security, and staying financially relevant in a changing economy. In today's world, doing nothing with your money is no longer safe. Smart, consistent investing is how you move forward. Section 11. Assets that fight inflation expanded. Some assets naturally defend against inflation. These include businesses, stocks, real estate, productive assets. Why? Because their value adjusts with inflation, they generate income, they grow with economic expansion. Cash does none of this. Section 12. Why people fear investing? People avoid investing because they fear loss. They don't understand it. They wait for perfect timing. But avoiding investing guarantees one thing: guaranteed loss to inflation. Risk exists in investing, but certainty exists in inflation. Section 13. Compounding inflation's enemy. Inflation destroys value quietly. Compounding builds value quietly. When your money grows consistently, growth builds on growth. Time works for you. Small amounts become powerful. Idle money loses. Invested money compounds. Section 14. Why time is more important than amount. People often say, I'll start investing when I earn more. This is a costly mistake. Time matters more than amount. Starting early gives compounding power. Waiting gives inflation power. Section 15. Why most people realize too late. Most people truly understand inflation after retirement, after savings fail, after costs rise too much. By then, choices are limited. Inflation rewards early awareness and punishes delay. Section 16. How to protect yourself. Realistic steps. You don't need to become an expert. You need to understand inflation, reduce idle cash, invest consistently, think long-term, avoid emotional decisions. Small, disciplined steps beat perfect plans that never start. Section 17. WHY. Financial education matters. Inflation is not evil. Ignorance is. People don't lose to inflation because they are lazy. They lose because they were never taught. Education changes outcomes. Section 18. The big picture strong. Close inflation is always working. The only question is your money working too? If not, inflation will win. Every year, inflation does not destroy savings loudly. It destroys them quietly, slowly, consistently. But now you know the truth. This channel, Wealth Principles Lab, exists to give you the financial clarity schools and society never did. If you want inflation-proof thinking, long-term financial clarity, intelligent money education, subscribe to Wealth Principles Lab, because money that stands still is money that moves backward. And understanding inflation is no longer optional.